Welcome back to the Triple Option Podcast. I'm back with my friend Mike and Chase, and today we're going to be giving our Week 1 recap and our Week 2 game picks. How are you boys doing today? What did you guys think of those Week 1 games?
Pretty insane. Like a lot of stuff happened. Granted, we all went 10-6, 11-5 in our picks, but hey, like it's Week 1, it's a new year, new season. It's a pretty good way to start it.
I definitely enjoyed it.
10-6, 11-5, that gets you a playoff spot, especially with the new format. So that's not a bad start to the season whatsoever. So we're going to go into our Week 2 game picks, but I guarantee you we're just going to naturally start talking about what happened in Week 1. So Chase, you want to start us off with the first game of Week 2?
Yep. So we got Cincinnati at Cleveland, and the spread is Cleveland -6. I'll start real quick by just saying I'm riding the Burrow train. I think Cincinnati's going to roll up into Cleveland. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to cover the spread, obviously, if they win. And here's my reason why. As one of my friends put it earlier, just this week, Burrow puts his team in a better position to win than Cleveland does. Granted, Cleveland got spanked by the Ravens, who are a lot better team than the Chargers, as we saw Cincinnati. If Bullock makes that field goal, do they win in overtime? Maybe. Do they lose in overtime? Maybe. But regardless, Joe Burrow did his job. He put his team in a position to contend that game, put his position in a team to win. And again, like I know Baker got spanked, but they got spanked by the Ravens. And I'm not coming out here and saying that, Cleveland's like the worst team in the league. But I think right now, it's not like Burrow doesn't have receivers. He's got Green. He's got, what's his tight end, Ozuma. And who's
Tyler
the guy
Boyd.
that picked? Yeah, Tyler Boyd. They got the guy
Ross.
they picked in the first round this year. He was on Clemson. I feel like Baker's got his arsenal too. I think they're very similar except for the running backs. I'll give Cleveland that because they got the two-headed monster, Kareem Hunt and Chubb. But it's not like Burrow still got Mixon. I just think Cleveland they're just a hot pile of garbage. We all picked them to lose by at least 8 last week. That obviously didn't hit. So I don't know. I just feel more confident in Joe Burrow. I think, again, they're going to win, and I think they're going to cover the spread.
So I'm 100% with you with Joe Burrow. I thought Joe Burrow, literally no preseason, no like real speed reps in the NFL. So, hey, go in there, go against a decent defense, a good pass rush, good secondary. I thought Joe Burrow looked pretty sharp. That running touchdown was freaking awesome. That celebration was electric. And I feel like if you're in a locker room with Joe Burrow, you just get hyped up. Like he's a great leader. He's a great player. But when you compare it to the Browns roster, the Browns roster has everything going for it except for a quarterback who can really sling it and makes good decisions and can win close football games. Literally, they're a QB away. They have 2 of everything on offense. Their defense has young corners. They did lose that safety early in the season, but they have a good pass rush. Like their team all around is solid. They have a great roster. There's no excuses for them to be this bad. And I feel like they're underperforming big time and there's a lot of pressure on them. But in this game, this is a game they're going to win. I'm going to take Cleveland. I'm going to take Cleveland -6.5, I think it is. Cleveland's the better team all around. There's no reason they should lose this game. But I will 100% guarantee that we're going to see some good things from Joe Burrow as well. Mike, what do you think?
I'm going Cincinnati +6. I think Cleveland wins the game. I wouldn't be surprised if we start having conversations about Case Keenum getting the starting job in Cleveland. Keep in mind that he's just known with his head coach. They went 13-3 together in the Minneapolis Miracle year. That was his offensive coordinator. Good relationship between the two. He brought him over to Cleveland with him, and I think he did it for a reason. And I think this is going to be his calling right here. I say Baker Mayfield gets benched at halftime. Case Keenum comes in and leads the Browns to a victory.
So are you making a case for Case right now?
Yeah, that's your line. I was going to say it, but I didn't want any copyright infringements on, so leave that up to you.
You never know. I mean, Baker's been pretty bad, so.
Horrible. He just rolls
happen.
out to his right every play and just gets sacked.
And throws into coverage.
Yeah, it's not good.
All right, Adam, next. One thing I got to say real quick before we move on. I very much disagree that the Cleveland Browns are a quarterback away from contending. Like, when you say they're a quarterback away, like, give me a quarterback who realistically they can have.
Minshew.
Case Keenum.
All right.
Case Keenum.
You give them Minshew. You give them Minshew.
If they can, If they get Minshew, it's Minshew with Odell, Landry, Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Njoku just got hurt, Austin Hooper. That offense is going to produce better than with Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but I am going to say they might sneak in.
You said
they're going to have
a quarterback away. I'm like,
it'll be a Cinderella story. It'll be a Cinderella story with them. They're actually going to be good. Yeah.
All right, here we go. We got Giants at Bears. Bears -5.5. I can start us off again. I'm going Bears going to win, but I think the Giants will cover the spread. I'm not so confident in the Bears, but I'm not so confident the Bears are going to win. Friend told me he's a Giants fan. He said that the last time the Giants and the Bears played, they did have Khalil Mack, the Bears, and the Giants still beat them.
Yep.
So the Giants put up a good fight on the Steelers early on in that game. Granted, Bud Dupree and that D-line didn't let Saquon,
they just even sent like 6 guys every play.
Yeah. Oh my God. Chicago went on that crazy run in the second half last week. So, they have that, but they to say they should have lost the game, I feel like it's a very safe thing to say because that drop comes Swift.
That was terrible. That was awful.
I think New York's going to make it a field goal game. I'm not saying it's going to come down to a missed field goal to win, but or a make one to win it all. But I don't think that they're gonna win by 6 points. I think that's pretty steep for the Chicago Bears to beat the Giants, who just like that defense looked pretty good. I mean, they have pieces. They got Blake Martinez out there. That man was a tackling machine.
Their front seven was solid. I thought they held James Conner in check. He was bad. I mean, Benny Snell
James Conner was bad.
Yeah, they held him in check big time. All right, so for me, transition to me. I am a big Danny Dimes guy. I thought, listen, Saquon Barkley, he touches the ball and he just gets sacked for a 5-yard loss, or he just gets tackled for a 5-yard loss. It was like instant pressure. It was like a game of Madden. Everyone's just run committing. He just got blown up. But for me personally, I thought Danny Dimes, when he dropped back passing, besides that stupid interception in the red zone, you should have just thrown it away. He, like to Darius Slayton, he threw some good balls. I felt like Danny Dimes against Chicago, there's not a lot of hope in Chicago. I mean, Mitch played well last week, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Chicago, you never know with them. But there's no hope for them, in my opinion. I would prefer the Lions over Chicago in that division. But for this game alone, I'm going to take Chicago to win the game, but I'm not taking Chicago -5.5. So I think Danny Dimes, I think it's going to be like a field goal game. I think Danny Dimes is going to get the screen game going with Saquon. I don't understand why just feed it to him and they're blitzing. Why don't you just set him up out wide, quick slant over the middle, quick hitter, just Slayton, like get the ball out quickly versus running it against a stacked box when you're getting completely outplayed by Watt and Bud Dupree on the outside with really bad offensive linemen. It's
Jason
just a bad
Garrett's the OC, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they had that one really good. They had one really good screen call where Saquon got like 40 yards, but besides that, it was just a nightmare night for him. But yeah, that's my take on this game. There's gonna be some flashes of Trubisky. I feel like Trubisky looked good last week late, but you never know. It's one of those games where it's a battle of the third place divisional teams in each. What do you think, Mike?
I think that the Bears are going to be a playoff team. I like Mitch Trubisky a lot. I think he keeps it rolling. I think Minnesota is the team that's going to be left out. I have them under 8 wins this year. I like the Bears. I like their defense. I think they're in a much better shape in that division than Detroit and Minnesota are. And I think if Mitch Trubisky keeps that offense rolling, I think they're going to be pretty good. They have pieces on both sides of the ball. They have a great head coach, and the Giants do not have a great coach. Saquon got shut down. Danny Dimes, some good flashes, but not there yet. He's pretty similar to Trubisky, in my opinion. He did play well for like the hand he was dealt. Awful matchup. Pittsburgh's really tough, but Chicago is pretty tough too. So, yeah, I like the Bears to win and cover here.
I like it. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be one of those games. It's going to be. I'm not going to watch it, but I'll tell you one thing.
Red Zone.
Danny Dimes versus Trubisky. That's kind of a sleeper quarterback battle for this week.
I'm assuming Golden Tate's going to be back. That's going to be huge for the Giants.
Yeah, big time. Slayton's going to get even more targets now that Tate's covering the other side of the field. What's the next game?
All right, here we go. This is a pretty sneaky matchup right here. We got Rams at Philadelphia, and there's no spread. It's just money line. You just got to pick either. I'm going Rams both. Granted, I'm not coming out here saying that Jalen Ramsey's pass interference call, the offensive pass interference, I'm not going to say if that wasn't called that the Cowboys would have won. Yeah, they still would have had to drive down the field, score a touchdown, or hit a field goal. You mean the Rams look good? Donald was killing the Cowboys offensive line. You saw him pancake Zeke.
He just bench pressed him off of him.
Dude.
Zeke's a big dude.
We saw what the terrifying front four of the Washington football team did. What do you think?
Terrifying.
What do you think Donald's gonna do to this lacking Eagles offensive line? You know what I mean? I think Wentz is gonna get hurt before the game's over. It's gonna be Jalen Hurts era out in Philly, but Jared Goff was not as good as Dak Prescott, but he got the job done. He got them. They obviously won. So in Philly, I think they start 0-2, and it's gonna be tough to dig themselves out of that hole. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to have confidence in Philly after seeing them losing to Washington. That was a pretty embarrassing loss.
17-point lead.
And I got to tell you, Carson Wentz, he was under siege early and late in that game. I think how many times? 7 sacks, 8 sacks. It was bad. But the positives in that game, Dallas Goedert looked good, so they have 2 good tight ends who can catch the ball. You have Jalen Reagor had that nice 55-yard catch, so some flashes of him. But this game is going to be the Rams. I think Sean McVay, if he can do that conservative play calling that they did against Dallas, it was just like, listen, we're going to run the ball, Cam Akers, and then Malcolm Brown in the red zone. And when we pass the ball, it's going to be a bootleg to Robert Woods, or it's going to be a quick dink and dunk to their other guy, they got Cooper Kupp. It's honestly just coaching. You never put Jared Goff in a position where he has to read the defense 5 wide, because that's not where he strives. He likes to look at the safety, throw one way, throw the other way, simplified game. And when you run the ball, that's when the Rams are really good. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Rams big time. But I got to tell you, if the Eagles put up a fight here, I'll have a little bit more hope for them going forward. You're up, Mikey.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Rams. I thought Jared Goff looked pretty good, honestly, on Sunday night. Dallas made some questionable calls during that game, but the Rams, they looked like they know what they're doing this year. And Philadelphia looked like they don't know what they're doing. I'm with Chase that Wentz might not make it out of this game alive.
Dude, Donald was
honestly,
scary.
you never know.
Yeah.
He doesn't look. Yeah. Next game. Let's run it up.
All right, we got Atlanta at Dallas. Dallas -4.5. How do you want to start us out? Because we all know who I'm picking.
Listen, I'm going to take the Cowboys to win. Cowboys -4.5, and I think they should win this game. If they lose this game, it's going to be kind of a panic in Jerry world for sure. But I do like Matt Ryan. That offense, they have some good receivers. Russell Gage had a big game. They have 3 receivers over 100 yards, and now you have Todd Gurley, who's a red zone specialist within the 5-yard line. You know, you're just going to run it to him. He just bulldozes his way in. So that offense, for sure, it's going to be a lot of air yards, ground and pound with Todd Gurley. That's going to be a dangerous offense. But you look at the all-around team, you look at the talent that Dallas has. I'm going to take Dallas because of Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy airing the ball out is the one way you can beat the Atlanta Falcons. And you can also ground and pound with Zeke. But interesting enough, last time Mike McCarthy coached against the Falcons, what was it, the blowout in the NFC Championship?
Yeah.
I think that's when it was. So it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to take Dallas, and I think it's going to be about clock management, just running with Zeke, play action game to Cooper and Michael Gallup against corners that aren't that good in coverage. And that's your best chance to win instead of scoring too quickly and giving Matt Ryan all these air yards and time of possession. So it'll be a possession battle, and I think Dallas is going to take both.
Yeah, I think Dallas responds here. They have a good team. Good. Zeke looked pretty good. Dak looked all right. They have 3 pretty good receivers. O-line's good. Defense is good. Surprised they couldn't get it done week 1, but I think they get it going here. Atlanta defensively looked horrible. They have certain pieces that are good, but as a collective unit, they're just don't play good defense. It's same story every year. They suck until week 14, and they start winning games when it doesn't matter.
Yep.
I think this Dallas wins this one. Goes 1-1 start the year.
Yeah, I agree with both you guys. Obviously, Dallas is going to win this game. One thing I will say though, I think Atlanta's going to cover the spread only because Jared Goff kind of tore up the the secondary of the Cowboys early on in that game, and obviously they just lost Vander Esch for like 8 weeks. That's not good.
That's
you know what I
horrible.
mean?
It's not good.
I
He's
think
a good player.
like you said, 3 guys hit over 100 yards. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan,
Russell Gage out of nowhere.
he just throws the ball. So I think it's gonna be close. Obviously, Dallas is gonna win. I think they're the better team. I think they should have won. I'm not saying they should have won again because the no call or like the bad call with the Jalen Ramsey sell. We don't know what's gonna happen after that. But very shocking they didn't beat the Rams. But they're still a very good team. They're very complete. That offense they have no weakness on the offense besides maybe center, besides maybe that right tackle position. And then the defense. It's you got Alden Smith, and that man cranked the clock.
He looked good, big time. He looks good.
But you got him and Lawrence on the edge. You got Dontari Poe, third. And I could talk about this defense all day long. I still really cover so much. I don't think it's going to be a runaway. The thing with the Falcons, Russell Wilson he's just that guy. You know what I mean? He knows how to pick apart defense. But yeah, I'll just keep it short and sweet like that. All right, next game, big game right here. Carolina at Tampa, and it's Tampa -9. So that's pretty hefty.
Do you want me to start? I'll start right now. All right, Tampa -9. I'm going to take Tampa. I'm going to take Tampa -9, and I'm going to tell you guys something that I saw, my takeaways from week 1. And I got to tell you guys, besides that pick 6, and I'm not going to blame Mike Evans on that play. He thought his cover 2 was quarters. He threw out a safety. That was bad too. But I am going to say there's a lot of good in that game. And when you think of it, you have a 43-year-old quarterback in Tom Brady, best quarterback all time. You put him into an offense with a lot of weapons, no preseason games. And it's like, all right, you're with guys that you've never played with before. You've been in the same system for 20 years. Let's put you in the hardest game of your schedule at New Orleans against a Super Bowl favorite, an NFC contender for big-time contender. And I thought they looked good. Honestly, they had an amazing first drive. That Tom Brady run in the big spike, that was freaking awesome. And I thought Tom Brady's deep ball was on the money. You probably would have had another 150 yards passing, probably just 100 yards passing with those pass interference calls. There's another stat. They said, he had 6, according to Pro Football Focus, he had 6 big-time throws when they look at deep ball and accuracy. Yeah. And last year, in the last 13 games of the season, he only had 1 a game. So he had a lot of big-time throws. I just got to think it's just going to take time. I mean, you can't really expect week 1. Imagine if they went week 1 and they just put it all together and they beat New Orleans. That would be a scary sight. So they were expected to lose this game. I feel good about Tom Brady. That offense is going to be crazy. Their defense, their front 7 was so fast. Their linebackers, literally every outside run Kamara had, they were just blowing them up. They were attacking the ball. It reminds me of Seattle with the Legion of Boom. That linebacking force is really fast. So their defense, they held Michael Thomas to 17 yards. It was irrelevant. So that defense is the sky's the limit for that defense, and obviously the same for the offense. So yeah, I think divisional game, they're going to beat Carolina. Carolina's in a weird spot, but they're not bad, but they're not great. Their offense is going to be, I like DJ Moore. Robbie Anderson had a big game. McCaffrey, best running back in the league. So they're going to put up some points, but I think this is Tom Brady's game for sure. This will be a statement game, especially airing the ball out.
Yeah, I'm super excited for Carolina to draft Trevor Lawrence. Can't wait. 0-16. Let's go. Super hype. Jacksonville got a win already. Idiots. Yeah, let's go. This is a new era in Carolina. I say we tank the rest of the season, secure that number 1 spot. Redskins also won. Also stupid of them. So if they're gonna hand Lawrence to us, I'll happily take them. Yeah, Tampa Bay is gonna go off. Brady looked pretty good. Defense looked pretty good. Except the mistakes you mentioned that Brady had, but their defense had some nice stops in the second half. And yeah, they're just nice. I agree. Tough matchup. I think that might be at the NFC Championship, Tampa Bay, New Orleans.
Probably.
So yeah, I like Tampa Bay to
either.
cover here. Yeah, they're gonna blow them out, kill them.
Yeah. All right. I got Tampa winning, but I got Carolina covering the spread. -9. It's pretty hefty. Obviously, it's a touchdown and field goal, so they win by 10. And it still hits for Tampa, but I'm not gonna, that's pretty hefty for after just one game to be I'm obviously not coming out here and saying Tampa's going to go 2-14. I'm not coming out here saying Carolina's going to win this game, but it's just early on. And as you said, Adam, no preseason, This is essentially a preseason game. Frankly, the first couple of weeks are it's just I had Vegas blowing Carolina out last week, and that was a very close win. Granted, Oakland is in Oakland, Las Vegas is in Tampa Bay. Derek Carr isn't Tom Brady, but they still got CMC. And Teddy Bridgewater, he's fighting for his life here. This might be his last starting job, so he's not gonna Mike, as you want you guys to just go 0-16. He's gonna put up a fight, and I think -9's a little bit too hefty. But yeah, obviously Tampa's gonna win. It's in Tampa, but I don't know. Do they have fans in Florida? Probably. I think Jacksonville did, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so we got 49ers at Jets and San Francisco -7. In my opinion, that is criminally low. The Jets wouldn't be surprised if they picked Trevor Lawrence. I think Gaze is gone by Halloween. I think Darnold.
He's so bad.
I
hate Gaze.
It's just oof. Yeah, obviously, tip off to Adam for saying that Arizona was going to cover the spread. Who would have thought the reigning NFC champ would lose to the team in their division who came in last? Granted, they added D-Hop. They got better in the offseason. Because my thing is San Francisco is one of those teams, they didn't really improve. They didn't really get that much better in the offseason. Whereas, the Jets clearly aren't they lost their number one wide receiver, which was
they don't have any number one wide receivers.
Exactly. Denzel Mims was hurt. I couldn't play him in fantasy. Kind of bullshit. Thought I would get some mad points with him. But yeah, no, -7 San Francisco. That's a gimme. That's
criminal.
You're throwing your life savings on that game right there.
Yeah, so apparently Richard Sherman's on IR so you'll miss 3 weeks, but it's not going to matter.
That's not the end of the world.
That's honestly there's no receiver. I can't even name a receiver on the Jets right now besides Jamison Crowder, and I don't think he's going to torch the defense and get over the top.
Also, Le'Veon's out too. He's done.
Yeah, but honestly, if you have primetime Le'Veon, he's playing the best game of his life. It still doesn't matter because there's no one else. And the offensive line is pretty bad, even though they had some good draft picks. But yeah, for me personally, really easy pick. San Francisco for both are going to win. San Fran -7. It's going to be a blowout. But I got to tell you, I don't love Jimmy Garoppolo this year. I have a weird feeling without Deebo Samuel and now Kittle's questionable that the passing attack isn't going to be there. But Raheem Mostert, dude, he's a beast. I've been high on Raheem Mostert. That playoff run last year, he was a freaking beast. So yeah, they're going to blow these guys out. But I'm not going to be too high on Jimmy Garoppolo. I think it's going to be like a ground and pound. They're just going to want to get out of there, and they'll put up points.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. San Francisco -7, pretty easy pick. Jets are horrible. O-line sucks. Darnold, I think he might be okay. Nothing against him, not his fault.
He has no
one
help
to throw to,
yeah.
no one to protect them. So, yeah, the hand he's dealt's pretty bad, but we'll see. They're pretty bad. So, yeah, San Francisco runs away with this one.
It's hard to judge Sam Darnold when he's just had nothing going for him, offensively, no weapons. Le'Veon, obviously, a great addition, but what good is he if there's no receivers?
Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't even consider it a great addition. Just the fit isn't there. They're not in a good position to even have him. So might as well just have some scrub running back.
All right, here we go. Denver at Pitt, and it's Pitt -7.5. I'm gonna go. Pitt's gonna win. Granted, Tennessee's a good football team. Granted, Denver almost won that. It's just my thing is, say third time's a charm. After week 3, that's when you're like, this football team's good. This football team's bad. This one's definitely better. This one. It's too early for me to say that. I think you just got to roll with a hot hand in Pittsburgh, who is now not going to Mile High. If they were at Mile High, it might be a different story. But Benny Snell is better than James Conner, so that's gonna be good. They don't even gotta waste those handoffs in the beginning of the game. I do think Denver is gonna cover. 7.5. They lose by a touchdown. It covers. Sutton's gonna be back. Drew Lock. He lost too bad, but it's the same thing with Tom Brady. No preseason. He's a second-year quarterback. Him and Fant went off in the beginning. Obviously, the defense adjusted, but Pittsburgh's D-line, I don't know if it's better or worse than what I saw from Tennessee, because Jeffrey Simmons was an animal in the trenches. That man was crazy in the trenches. But I think they lose by a touchdown. I think they lose by less. So I'm gonna go Pitt to win and then Denver to cover.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh big time here, and I thought Pittsburgh is back. I thought Big Ben, when he's playing, it's a huge. It's like the whole team's different. Defensively, they're the same, but offensively, it's like now you have a Hall of Fame quarterback slinging it. Now Juju's relevant again. Now, I mean, the running game was Benny Snell looked good, so the running game was kind of there. So everything kind of comes together when Big Ben's there, and I think Denver's in the team where it's like, listen, you got some good offensive additions. You have a young quarterback. We'll see how it goes. But Von Miller's a big loss. They don't have that secondary that they used to, even though I have a good safety in Simmons. It'll be a tough game for them. I think it's going to be Pittsburgh. I think they're going to win by like 14 probably. And I like Juju in this game as well. But I did like what I saw from Drew Lock. I think he's a good young player, and I think he'll have his better days are ahead of him for sure. But yeah, I just think Pittsburgh's an all-around better team, and their front seven's really good, and their secondary with Minka is completely. It's like I would consider now a great secondary compared to just being a good one with Minka. So yeah. I'm going to take Pittsburgh, and it's going to be 14 plus for me. Blowout, kind of.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. You know what? I think Denver wins this game. Scratch that. Denver upsets Pittsburgh. Jerry Jeudy has to catch the ball. Vic Fangio is an absolute moron. This guy decides to save his timeouts for next week. I don't know what he's doing. The Titans are bleeding the clock. He's like, you know what? I like my chances with Gostkowski hitting a 25-yard.
Gostkowski, baby, let's go.
I get he missed 3 times, but the odds of him missing again from 25 are like 1%. Like, what are you doing? You're leaving your quarterback like 10 seconds. Like, what? Oh, yeah.
It's bad coaching.
He just saved his timeouts for no reason, and it's just disappointing. They should have gotten the ball back with like 45 seconds if he started using his timeouts. I thought Denver's game plan was pretty good. Their defense looked great. They shut down like Derrick Henry until like the fourth quarter pretty much. And yeah, things didn't go their way. They had some bad drops, but they were missing Cortland Sutton. They were missing KJ Hamler. So those are huge additions back next week. And I don't know. I just think they're going to get it together. They're like the kings of losing one possession games. That's what they do. They're every time.
Happened so many times last year.
I think they're going to come out determined. Like, I'd be so like ready to go after that, especially if I'm Drew Lock. Like, your coach doesn't trust you to start calling some timeouts. That'd get me going. So he's out there, has something to prove. Pittsburgh did look pretty good. Their defense did look nice, but they are the better team. But I just have a feeling. I have a feeling Denver wins this game.
Never know.
Just that gut feeling. All right,
we got prediction before this game. Hold up, Chase. Bold prediction. Yeah. Cortland Sutton's going to be a non-factor for this week. Just heads up.
We'll see how healthy he is.
He'll be a non-factor.
You guys are like the opposite with Sutton and Minshew, Adam. You're like, Minshew's gross. Oh, my God. All right, here we go.
Speaking of Minshew.
So the next game?
We got Jacksonville at Tennessee. Tennessee -9.
That's Adam, criminal. Are you kidding me?
You take the wheel on this one.
I'm taking Jacksonville to win. Are you kidding me? I'm taking Minshew. I saw nothing from Tennessee that I liked at all, except for Derrick Henry. I'm not a Tannehill guy, and I think Minshew magic is real, and I think he's a good quarterback. But actually, all right, listen, Tennessee's probably going to win. That's just the real deal. Like, I'm not like I wouldn't bet much on this game. Okay, I think Tennessee.
Are you taking Jacksonville?
I'm not gonna. I'm taking Jacksonville, but I'm letting people know that Tennessee's probably going to win. But
please gamble responsibly.
Yeah, exactly. But let me tell you something. Jacksonville, would it be unheard of if they beat Tennessee? I picked the Colts in the division.
I think
Jacksonville beat the Colts, and the Colts, they're not a bad team whatsoever. They have great offensive line. They have good linebacker Darius Leonard. Like, they're not a bad team. So I'm taking Jacksonville because I don't think this is just an indicator that I don't think Tennessee is a good team. So I'm taking Jacksonville to win, and Jacksonville is going to win by a lucky field goal late, and I think Minshew drives the field. So yeah, let me quickly check. Did I have that down on this game?
Because I fixed it. Don't worry.
Yeah, Jacksonville. Yep. I'm rolling the dice.
Yeah, no, Tennessee by double digits. I thought Ryan Tannehill played a better game than Derrick Henry. I thought he played phenomenal. Like, all of his reads were great. He was like finding those 5 to 6 yard gains like repeatedly, play after play after play. And Derrick Henry was not moving the ball the whole game until the end. He was like averaging 3 yards per carry. And Ryan Tannehill like got them into field goal range like 3 times. And Gostkowski just decided to not put points on the board.
That game was way too close.
They should have had more points on the board than they did. I thought Tannehill looked great, especially on the last drive. And yeah, he spread the ball around pretty well too. Corey Davis got involved. AJ Brown, Jonnu Smith. So he has guys to go to, and obviously having Derrick Henry is a huge plus. I picked Tennessee to win the division. After seeing what the Colts did, I think it's like a lock at this point. And I think they run away with this one easily. I don't know what happened in Indianapolis, Jacksonville. I tuned in for like the last 5 minutes and saw like T.Y. Hilton drop the ball like every other play. But I don't know how Minshew went 19 for 20, like 3 touchdowns or whatever. No idea. Won't happen again, I'll tell you that. Clowney's going to sack him like 6 times. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Tennessee winning and Jacksonville covering. I'm agree with Adam. I don't feel confident picking Jacksonville to lose this game. Minshew's just so efficient. You know what I mean?
Minshew looked outstanding. I gotta say,
yeah, he's got a 2-headed monster wide receiving core and Laviska and DJ Chark. Like they're gonna be like what Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey were on the Bears. I'm telling you right now. Dude, Minshew, he's not out here like, oh, I know I have a job. He's not like, oh, if I lose, whatever. But no, every loss he has is one more reason for Jacksonville to be like, we're trading up for Trevor. We're tanking for Trevor. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a close game. -9 is criminally high for Tennessee to win.
Thinking.
Because they still got Josh Allen, that defensive line. It's not like
Miles Jack, like they're not.
Yeah, it's not like and CJ Henderson with a pick on. It's not like Jacksonville is horrible. You know what I mean? It's not like it's the Jets going into Tennessee. But yeah, that's just me.
I gotta say that if you're Jacksonville, if you're Minshew, what do you have to lose? Just air it out. Like, what do you have to lose? Like,
he's playing. He's
just
playing
gunslinger mode.
It's like because he knows he's on the chopping block. But all right, next game we got Detroit at Green Bay. Green Bay -6. I'm going Green Bay both. They went into Minnesota. Granted, no fans. Spanked the Vikings. And the Detroit's not better than the Minnesota. That's just me. I feel like we all agree except for Mike. I feel like you agree. Minnesota's clearly better than Detroit. -6 is extremely a touchdown. It covers. So I love this. I love this spread. I might, you got to throw the house on this one. You know what I mean? Granted, Detroit should have won that game because of Swift. We already talked about that. They're not looking bad. I don't know if Galladay's out. Was he on the place on the IR or is he just a week one?
He's questionable. He might play. I think he's going to.
He comes back. Maybe they lose by 14, not 21. You know what I mean? So that's just me. Green Bay is a very good team. They were, the Colts, and AFC Championship. They were participants. They're still good. It's just you can't bet against Rodgers, especially against the Lions. You know what I mean? Lions have beaten him in Lambeau before, but it's a different. It's you know what I mean. Detroit Patricia's just he's a ticking time bomb too. Him and Gaze are both gonna be gone by Halloween. I don't know who wants to play for him except for clearly Jamie Collins and Trey Flowers and Deron Harmon, the foreign Patriots. I don't think anyone else likes this man. Yeah.
I'm going to take Green Bay by a lot. Green Bay -6, that's pretty safe. I would put some money on this game. And yes, Detroit has beaten them in the past, but the Aaron Rodgers I saw last week was a very scary sight. And I think this is one of those seasons where if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're like, listen, everyone's forgetting about me. You're talking about Mahomes. You're talking about Lamar. You're talking about Watson. I don't know why, because Watson's not even that good. They're forgetting about Aaron Rodgers, and I think this guy is big time. He has been big time. Not Tom Brady big time, but he's been, easy Hall of Fame quarterback. He throws one of the most beautiful touch passes, back shoulders to Adams. Like his deep ball, his release point is just money. And I think this can be a big game, and I think it was a scary sight last week seeing how Adams and Rodgers just on the same page, and they both combined for like 30 fantasy points each.
Rodgers throwing the run is undefeated.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, this is a pretty easy pick for me. I'm going to take Green Bay.
Yeah, I like Green Bay here too. Aaron Rodgers looked outstanding. Detroit, feel bad for Stafford. Got robbed out of a win.
Should have won. That was bad. Yeah, that was really bad.
Yeah. It's the usual for Detroit. They do stuff like this every year as well. So,
unbelievable.
Yeah, I like Rodgers right now. He looked like really, really, really good. So I'll ride it out -6 as well. All right, Buffalo, Miami.
Yep,
Josh Allen.
Miami.
MVP front runner, absolute beast.
Buffalo -5.5.
I'm like Jalen Ramsey. I'm looking forward to playing Josh Allen. Do you remember that quote?
Plus passing yards.
All right, who wants to
Yeah.
start us off? Do you want me to start it off? All right, let's
do it.
do
So
Buffalo,
it's
Miami.
-5.5 though. Just so you know, that's 2 field goals in Buffalo covers.
All right, Buffalo's going to win, but Miami's going to keep it close. So I'm not going to take Buffalo -5.5. I think Miami plus 5.5 here. And I think Miami is, no one's taking them. But guess what? You have Stephon Diggs, you have John Brown, they have Xavier Howard, they have Byron Jones. So this Miami secondary, huge upgrades. And you look, all right, so how do you beat Miami? The Patriots illustrated it last week. You run the ball, play very efficient football. You just pound it down their throats because they can't stop the run. Even with Van Noy at linebacker, that addition doesn't really make much of a difference. They have a hard time stopping the run. He's not. He's the system Patriot guy. But you look at Buffalo. You mean Josh Allen loves to scramble, but I'm not really confident in Devin Singletary. He has some carrying issues. Fumbled the ball a lot of practice during preseason or the training camp, And Zach Moss, he has some upside, but they're not a really run-first team. The only running they do is with Josh Allen scrambling. So Miami, this is a divisional game that Miami's just they're going to play close. I think Fitzmagic's going to keep them in it, and it's going to be one of those tough games. So I'm not going to put a lot of money on this at all, but I'm taking Buffalo to win, but I'm taking Miami plus 5.5.
It's pretty bold. All right, so yeah, I got Buff doing both because I know you said, oh, you got Diggs and you got John Brown, you got Jones and Howard, dude. Everyone sleeps on how good this Buffalo defense is. In my opinion, it's better than the Patriots, just all around. Obviously, the Patriots probably have the best secondary in the league. I don't know if that's pretty biased of me to say that, but
linebacking core though, yeah, Bills for sure.
Dude, linebacker, the front four, I don't know all the names on it, but you still got they've been Sean McDermott he's been killing the draft. I'm not saying he's the one drafting it, but give me a D tackle. They get Ed Oliver 2 years ago. You got Tremaine Edmonds. You got the safety duo in Hyde and Pointer, and you got Trey White, they are that team has so many different I'm not saying Ed Oliver's a superstar, but he's a big impact player. But you got some superstars back there, and sure you have Parker, but I it's not I understand you're saying they're gonna keep it close because Miami's not tanking anymore. They got their guy of the future. They got Tua, but it's too early. From what I saw, obviously the Patriots ran a very efficient football, and I said I didn't think the Pats were gonna cover the spread last week, but they obviously did. But it's just Buffalo's excited. They think they're gonna win the division. I think they're gonna come out full guns and win. I can't really give you too many more reasons why I think they're gonna win and cover the spread, but it's 2 field goals. That's pretty generous. Granted, it's not -3, which probably I would think is more realistic, but yeah. That's just me.
Yeah, I like Buffalo -5.5 too. I think their defense is great, but their offense is pretty sick too. I think Josh Allen's going to have an MVP-like season. I think he will be in the conversation for MVP once that time rolls around. He looked so good. His improvement has been outstanding. I see you laughing, Chase. This is no laughing matter.
No
Josh
way.
Allen will be in the
give me a
conversation.
5-year window. Maybe Josh Allen will be an MVP considerate.
He's 300+ yards passing, ran the ball pretty well too. He's just great quarterback. He has a good offensive coordinator too. It's a similar Lamar Jackson situation going on here. I think Bills are going to be tough to stop. Yeah, Josh Allen's elite. Bills -5.5.
Yeah, we all agree on that except Adam.
In Miami, baby, let's go Miami Miracle.
Dude, the thing is, I think Florida's the only state that allows fans, so that might
let's go
save them a few. I don't know, but yeah, we got Minnesota at Indianapolis, and it's Indy -3. I love Minnesota. I love them covering. Thing is, it's very interesting because you got 2 teams that clearly are in win now. You got how many more years is Rivers going to be a quarterback? For
1 or 2, maybe.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Will they sign him to a 1-year deal? So Indianapolis is in win now. Minnesota, they're always in win now. You know what I mean? With that division. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because obviously the Pats are always in win now. Obviously, the Steelers are always in win now. They're they're one of the franchises that can always pull off, just being in that, going to the championship game with going to the NFC Championship with Case Keenum, that's just one thing. But yeah, obviously, years later. But Minnesota got embarrassed by Green Bay at home, grand no fan. And then Indianapolis blew a lead to the Jaguars, who in everyone's view, week one was the worst team in the league. You know what I mean? So it's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to like a make field goal, miss field goal for one team to win. I think Minnesota is going to win. If Indianapolis wins, they could. It's not like I'm not coming out here being like it's a lock, Minnesota's going to win. I think it's going to come down to a final drive. What quarterback can Kirk show everyone that he actually is all that? Can Phillip Rivers show everyone that he still has it? That's what's going to come down to. I think, Minnesota's got the better defense. I think Colts have a bit more of a better arsenal for the quarterback. I'm not saying that they're better. Obviously the offensive line is ridiculous. You got Marlon Mack out. How big of a blow is that? Because you got Jonathan Taylor coming in now. He could be the next biggest thing out there. You still got Dalvin Cook. It's just the checks and balances for both these teams, both at net zero for who has the advantage. I think Minnesota is more, oh no, we got to win this game, because I think the Colts know their division is very weak this year.
I'm taking Minnesota for both, and I think Minnesota should win this game. And I think if you think of Minnesota, they're like the Buffalo Bills of the NFC. They're a team that's like, oh, they're not bad. They're solid. They have a good roster, but they can never really put it together. I'm a big Kirk Cousins guy. I think people give him a lot of hate. They compare him to like Jay Cutler. I'm a big Kirk Cousins guy. I think he throws a great ball, but I'm not very high on that Mike Zimmerman defense. I look at yesterday. That was the most points I think he's ever given up as a coach. That defense got torched. Their corners look bad. Xavier Rhodes was good for like 2 years. Now he's gone. So that secondary
now
is
he's
like,
on the Colts though.
Yeah, that secondary is kind of atrocious. Harrison Smith's like their only good secondary type player. I think Trey Ways too. Is Trey Ways a Viking? He's not bad.
Yeah, he's hurt or something, and he's not. Yeah. He's never been all that.
Yeah,
so 75 on that.
I feel like T.Y. Hilton has a big game, and I feel like the Colts are going to keep this one close. But I'm going to take Minnesota in the end, and I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a game-winning drive, and he's going to throw a beautiful touchdown, shoulder in the bucket. Thielen, baby, let's go. So that's my pick.
Yeah, I'm going Colts -3. Phillip Rivers, I don't know if he's any good anymore, but Minnesota's not good either. I just don't buy into like their team at all. I don't know why anyone thinks they're good. Under 500 for sure. Yeah, give me the Colts at home with the points, I guess. Hopefully T.Y. Hilton hangs on to some balls late in the game, and they'll get it done. Their O-line's really good too. I saw like Hines had a pretty good game. So, yeah, Mack is out, but Hines looked pretty good. They have Jonathan Taylor as well.
It's a green light for Jonathan Taylor. That's his backfield now. He's going to go off.
Yeah.
Big time.
I mean, obviously Hines isn't the future running back. It's obviously Jonathan Taylor.
But he's a James White type guy. He's a third down specialist, so you never know. I like him.
I do agree with you, Adam, that I don't understand why Kirk Cousins gets so much hate. So what? You're 0-8 on Monday Night Football. Why we saying he's 0-8 in Monday Night Football? Like that's like he's 0-8 in the playoffs. He's 0-8 in the Super Bowl. It's a damn game. It's a damn ESPN station. I don't understand. That's why he gets most of his hate, I think. But I think he's very good. You know what I mean? He always – I don't know how much better the Redskins – how much more talent the Redskins had when he was their quarterback than they do currently right now. You know what I mean? I don't know. But every year they were always – they went to the wild card. They were always nipping hands. But he'd get a better team in Minnesota now. But yeah, I agree. I don't understand the hate. 0-8 in Monday Night Football, sue me. I don't care.
Like I would rather take a game at the Superdome, like a divisional win at the Superdome.
Yeah. Overtime drive. Yeah. All right, here we go. Man. Washington at Arizona, and it's Arizona -6.5. And that's interesting because obviously touchdown, Arizona wins by 7. That covers.
Yep.
I'm going Arizona's going to win, but I'm thinking Washington's going to cover the spread, not because of offense, because that defensive line. And I know you guys can chirp me like, oh, I said that front four is terrifying. Terrifying. It is terrifying. You got Kerrigan, you got Montez Sweat, you got Jonathan Allen, you got Deron Payne, and I haven't even said Chase Young yet. You know what I mean? those linebackers, they won that game against the Eagles. They got 8 sacks that whole game. It's not even including the pressures, not including the amount of effective throws they had for Carson Wentz. So one thing is, though, how much more mobile is Wentz than Murray? Because obviously Kyler Murray, if he needs to tuck in and run, he will. And, how much better is that offensive line? Cardinals' offensive line has not been there since Carson Palmer's been their quarterback. So, it's 6.5 is pretty big. I think they lose by 6, maybe 3. But it's that defensive line, the thing is, sacks are obviously an important stat, but I think the most important stat is just the pressures, just the hurries, the effective throws that have how many times is he going to be throwing the ball quick and not. And obviously they just played probably one of the better, if not the best defense in San Francisco, and they won. Played Nick Bosa, but you kind of got like 4 Nick Bosas, a Nick Bosa on each end. You got two bold Alabama products. That defensive line, they can do wonders, and I think they're going to keep Washington relevant for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't hate that take whatsoever. I agree with you that defensive line is good, and they have crazy upside for sure. But I think of a Kyler Murray who played a better defensive line in San Francisco and was able to just torch them with his legs. Like, he just kept rolling out, just running. That quarterback contain was not there. So for me personally, Kyler Murray, who I thought was going to have a slower start. I didn't realize he would build so much chemistry that quickly with DeAndre Hopkins. Like, I thought he was going to be like, all right,
it's 14 or 7.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like, all right, it's going to be kind of like Odell in Cleveland a little bit. Like, it's going to take a little bit for them to get going. But yeah, right away, it's like, let's hit Hopkins for 140 first game. So that is a really good sign for me, and I'm going to keep going with the Cardinals. They're going to win this game. You know what? I think they're going to win by 7. So they're just going to make it. So I think they're going to win by a touchdown. But I wouldn't be surprised if Washington's defensive line gets a couple of sacks and they look good. But, I mean, you're comparing a team that's horrendous that we all bet against first week. I mean, we gave them, like, no chance against Philly, and now we're going to give them a chance against a better team in Arizona. I'm not really buying it. So I'm going to take Arizona for both. But defensive line is going to be a good factor for sure.
Yeah, I like the Cards here, -6.5. Kyler Murray looks pretty good. I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. Offensive Player of the Year conversation. Hopkins, best receiver in football, proved it again. 14 catches, 150 yards. He looked unstoppable. And, yeah, Cliff Kingsbury just knows what he's doing. Great coach. I think it's such a good fit for Kyler Murray. He's going to just grow and develop his game at an accelerated rate. And, yeah, they just look like a good football team. And San Francisco, like I said last week, struggles against running quarterbacks. So Kyler Murray took advantage of that, got the job done, and I think he gets the job done here against Washington fairly easily as well, and they cover.
Before we move on to the next thing, I think one thing we're also forgetting is that, how great of a coach is Kyle Shanahan? How great of a coach is Ron Rivera? I think Ron Rivera knows what he's going up against, and you know better than anyone, Mike, because you're a Panthers fan. It's two different coaches. One is way more respected. One is clearly the better coach. Look what he did with a team that we thought, I will admit, I thought Washington was going to get blown out. I saw the line. You literally scroll up on the spreadsheet. You see me put a hammer emoji next to Philadelphia. But you know what? What Washington did, and they didn't win by a touchdown. They won by a couple of touchdowns. They won by, they won handsomely once they overcame a 17-point deficit. I don't think Arizona's going to ever get a 17-point lead. And even if they did, could they lose by, less than 6.5? I, of course, believe that. But I think, granted, I'm very much contradicting what I said last week, and, I'll bite the bullet on that. But I think Washington, that game turns some heads, and I don't see how Arizona would win by, more than 6.5. All right, next game, we got Baltimore at Houston. It's Baltimore -7. I think that's a pretty low spread too, personally. Browns and Texans, not comparable by any mean, but Baltimore spanked the Browns, and the Texans, I don't really see. I just, Kansas City's obviously, they just won the Super Bowl. They're probably the best team. Maybe they win it again this year. Baltimore's right up there. I don't know how this defense can do against Lamar Jackson. I personally don't know any previous records they have against Lamar, but Baltimore just got better this offseason. I mean, like I said, like it all comes down to who got better in the offseason. Baltimore got very good this offseason. They I don't know how many carries Dobbins got in the first half, but they started feeding that guy, and it was over after that. But yeah, it's I don't know how comparable Kansas City and Baltimore are when they play this year. I don't know who's going to win. I got to wait a little bit longer to figure that out. But I think -7 is pretty low, especially because Kansas City beat the Texans pretty handsomely. So I'm going Baltimore's going to win and cover.
Yeah, it's going to be a blowout for sure. I think Baltimore's going to win. And I thought Houston looked pathetic, and I thought Deshaun Watson showed zero fight. That's why Mahomes stopped throwing the ball, gave it to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who, by the way, can't punch in a red zone carry for his life.
Oh, my God.
Let's just get that out there. He had 10 carries at the 1-yard line, couldn't punch it in. That's great news for fantasy owners who have Mahomes. Shows that they're going to air it out the 1-yard line, which is a plus. Anyways, back on track. I thought Deshaun Watson – they put up 7 early. They look good. David Johnson, we was like, whoa, is that 2016 David Johnson? Like, he looks solid. That was the one, like, positive from that game. But then I saw Deshaun Watson, who, I wouldn't consider Kansas City secondary to be that good. Yeah. It's really up front. Their defense is up front. I didn't really see much of a fight from Deshaun Watson. I didn't see any hope. I didn't see, like, a guy that's like you could rally behind and come back in this game. And I think that's going to be the same thing here. You can argue that Baltimore has a better defense, a way better defense than Kansas City. And you can argue that Baltimore's offense on the ground could be better than Kansas City's run game. I'm not going to make the stretch of comparing Mahomes and Lamar because I think Mahomes is freaking amazing, right? But I think that Baltimore's going to run away with this. Literally, they're just going to ground and pound. And I feel so bad for J.J. Watt because he needs to get out of there. That's not a winning franchise. Bill O'Brien has been horrendous. And I want Houston to win because I'm not a big John Harbaugh guy. I don't really like Baltimore. But I'm just going to say how it is. I think Baltimore wins by a lot. And, yeah, that's my take for this game.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien's terrible. I don't know. He should have been fired a long time ago. I would have fired him after that Kansas City loss.
Absolutely, yeah.
Embarrassing. He's a horrific coach, makes horrific decisions. Nobody really wants to play for him. Watson probably wants out. Tough matchup here. You had Kansas City week 1, Baltimore week 2. I don't think it gets any harder than this, but they're going to get blown out. It's not going to be close. I like Baltimore by double digits here. Yeah, easy cover.
Yeah, all right. We got, speaking of Kansas City at Chargers, Kansas City -8.5. Pretty big spread for a team that just won week 1. Obviously, both teams won week 1. Obviously, you got the offensive pass interference from AJ Green, Bengals for one, missed field goal, all that good stuff. I would never come out here and say, oh, if Herbert is playing, they're gonna lose by 8 or less, because we don't know how good Herbert is. We know how good he's gonna be in this league. But it's Tyrod Taylor. He's not the kind of guy that you're gonna like, oh, he's gonna come in here and light it up. You're just hoping that your team scores because Tyrod Taylor. It's not like I don't know how many times I've seen a team that Tyrod Taylor's that lead quarterback of score more than 21 points in a game. You know what I mean? It's always, I feel like it's very close battle. Kansas City, Chargers have a very good defense. They got better. Derwin James is out. That's a big blow to the secondary because obviously when you're playing Kansas City, which you need a very good secondary. Like I said, they have a good defense, but it's Kansas City -8.5 is a no-brainer. They're gonna win.
Yeah, I think Kansas City's offense is borderline unstoppable unless they run into a Tom Brady team with a great secondary in the AFC Championship at Arrowhead. But anyways, back on track here. Yeah, I think Kansas City, the teams that match up well against them are teams that can play man coverage and rush for and get pressure while at the same time managing the clock and running the football. So you can consider Baltimore to be a good team to match up with Kansas City because they have good corners and they can run the ball. Anyways, back to this game. Chargers, I said it last week. I'm sticking to it. If they had Minshew, they'd be great. I don't really trust Tyrod Taylor, but I got to tell you, Tyrod Taylor throws some nice deep ball. Even with Buffalo, he throws some nice passes back in the day. I remember they had Percy Harvin for like a couple games against the Pats, and he threw some nice bucket throws. Anyways, yeah, it's going to be a blowout. I think Kansas City looked great Thursday night. They took care of business. They're going to take care of business here. I feel like the Chargers are going to be behind early, and they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So hopefully Keenan Allen gets some fantasy points because he's on my team. But yeah, I think Chargers are going to be playing from behind, and I think Kansas City is going to win pretty easily here. definitely like double digits.
Yeah, I completely agree with you here. Kansas City, easy cover. Tyrod Taylor's not too good. I think I'd look at Herbert if I were the Chargers, maybe get that change in like week 4, week 5, once Herbert knows like the system better and gets more familiar with the offense. But yeah, Kansas City looks unstoppable. Mahomes is really good. Their offense is fire. Their defense has actually been playing not bad lately too. So I think it's going to be a very easy win for the Chiefs.
So, like, just before we move on, because Adam, you did say, team that can rush for. The Chargers kind of, they have Hayward and they got Chris Harris, on the cornerbacks. They got Bosa, they got Melvin Gordon, and they got Jared Tiller. Like, the way you describe a team that can match up against Kansas, you kind of named it in the Chargers defense. But at the end of the day, it's not. You don't got Lamar at quarterback. You don't got.
Like, I gotta tell you, dude, the Chargers, when they had Phillip Rivers, they actually didn't they beat Mahomes? They went to overtime, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I remember Mike Williams.
2-point conversion.
Yeah,
right?
Mike Williams 2-point conversion. So yeah, you could consider the Chargers to be a team that matched up well, and they stole a game from Kansas City. But you got to have both. You got to have man coverage rush for, and you got to have an offense that can stay on the field and move the chains. And I'm not a fan of that offense.
Because they have weapons. You know what I mean? They have Williams, who is probably the best.
He's a great deep ball receiver. Throw it up to him. He can make a catch.
He's not the best number 2 receiver. Obviously, you got Calvin Ridley. Obviously, you got
Metcalf. Love Metcalf.
Metcalf, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's very up there as a guy. It's like, oh, we got
N'Keal Harry.
We got to lock up. Yeah, we got to lock up. We got to lock up both him and Allen. Like, that's not an easy task at all. But like, it's just I'm just talking about the defense, and it's.
Yeah, I get your point for sure. You never know.
Chargers are in a very difficult position because they named Tyrod Taylor their team captain. So like,
you can't give up on your captain. I mean, yeah, I see what you mean.
Obviously to an extent. Obviously, if you think teams winner, but it's the only rookie quarterback we see starting right now, I'm pretty sure, is Burrow, and that's because he went number 1 and because he's 24. Herbert's still young and he's no preseason, all that good stuff. All right, Sunday Night Football.
Let's go.
Pats at Seattle. We're all taking New England, and we're all taking the cover.
This is definition of a feeling pick right here. This is like Seattle should win, but I like what I saw from Cam Newton. I'm not much of a Cam Newton guy at all. But when you see the Patriots have all offensive linemen, tight ends, and a fullback, and Cam just takes the snap and runs with it, that's a good sign of his health right there. Like, I was a fan of that. But yeah, really quickly, just to summarize what I think is going to happen. Russell Wilson, special player, Metcalf beast, Lockett good. Like, their offense in the air is going to be great. But I got to tell you something. The Patriots strive in man coverage and pass coverage. And the Seattle Seahawks, their weakness is up front on offense and on defense. Offensive line, defensive line. So you have a situation where if the Patriots can force Russell Wilson to throw, that sounds crazy because Russell Wilson's a Hall of Fame quarterback who's ridiculously talented. But I'm just saying, he's throwing against guys who can cover. And every single throw we saw last week, even though they were completed from Fitzpatrick to like Parker, like over the middle, or Gesicki, as soon as they touch the ball, there's a guy right there. So it's tight man coverage. I think the Patriots are going to have tight man coverage, and it's going to be hard for Russell Wilson to fit the ball into there. But there's a weakness to man coverage, and guess what? It's running and scrambling. And San Francisco saw it best with Kyler Murray. You need to account for Russell Wilson, which might give us some issues. But if the Patriots can control the trenches on offense and on defense, run the ball effectively, and play good man coverage, they're going to be – I'm calling the upset. I'm taking New England for both.
I like New England here too. I'm going Patriots +4 and Patriots to win. Don't bet against Bill. I thought Cam Newton looked pretty good, not like 100%. He's not running like at full speed, but he did like what he needed to, and he looked fine. He didn't really throw it much, didn't really need to, so I'd like to see more out of his arm and see if that shoulder's okay. But the Pats had like a pretty good game plan. Their defense was lights out. N'Keal Harry, bad fumble, which kind of made the game
it was gonna be a
little
blowout
bit close. Yeah. But Pats look fine. I like what I saw week 1, and I think I just like their chances Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. Sunday Night Football. Like I said, we all took them. You just can't bet against Bill. I will never in my life ever be like the Pats are going to lose this game. You know what I mean? Like, no, you never. It's all signs for it. Even we did a pretty good job putting pressure on Fitzmagic, but we still had 3 picks. You know what I mean? Like, Russell Wilson's a lot better quarterback than Fitzmagic, but name a wide receiver. You got Metcalf. Oh, put Gilmore on him. Oh, we got Lockett. Oh, put J.C. Jackson on him. Oh, we got whoever else. Oh, we still have Jason McCourty. It's just the Pats secondary is an answer for every
Very
single
deep
damn receiver
secondary.
we are going to go up against this year. Didn't even mention Jonathan Jones. You know what I mean? Like, it's
I wouldn't be surprised what they're going to do. Honestly, they're going to put Gilmore and Metcalf because Gilmore strives against physical receivers, and Tyler Lockett being a little bit more speedy and short. They're going to treat him like a Tyreek Hill. They're going to put Jonathan Jones on him with probably like
and then
safety.
have a safety shade. And I like Jawan Williams out there on the back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do. Or Joel Williams on a tight end because he played well against Gesicki. So yeah,
because
sure.
they do got Olsen, but yeah, it's just like, could Seattle win? Of course, they're playing at home. They're a very good football team, but you just can't bet against the Pats. And even when you see this, it's like, I don't think we're going to lose because of every single thing I just said. It's going to come down to, and as most games come down to, how well is Cam going to play? How well is our quarterback going to play? He did his job. What are the Pats' motto? Do your job. He did his job last week.
Yep.
Now he's going to need to throw it, I'm assuming, because it's not going to be, the Miami Dolphins. We're going against Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson. So is he going to be able to hit those throws? Is he going to be able to, find those holes to run through? But yeah, I know what you're saying. He didn't look like he was running 100%, Mike, but like, he's 31 now. It's not like he's 22 coming out of Auburn. You know what I mean? But yeah. All right, here we go. Final game, Monday Night Football, New Orleans at Oakland. New Orleans -6. Oh my gosh, Oakland at Las Vegas.
Vegas, yep.
New Orleans at Vegas. I got New Orleans winning, better team. I got Vegas covering because, granted they did almost lose to Carolina, but they put up points. You know what I mean? I think I don't know how good is Drew Brees? You know what I mean? Like, is he looking like a Peyton Manning, like a Brett Favre in their final seasons? 1 week, I'm not saying that's true at all, but from what I saw, I think Oakland can lose by 6. I think they can lose by 5. I think they can lose by 4. Lose by a field goal. Big Monday Night Football, as you were just talking about. That's like the Super Bowl, according to some people. But yeah, that's just me. So yeah.
I'm going to take Vegas to win this game. Huge. This is such a bold prediction, but let me tell you something. Vegas's defense is pretty bad. It's very friendly. If you're a quarterback playing Vegas, that secondary, that's a friendly. You're going to have a lot of passing yards. You're going to have a lot of passing touchdowns. But I like this Vegas offense a lot. Their offensive line is solid. Their run game is solid. I think Derek Carr, if he just doesn't make any mistakes, he will be fine. And this is a gamble against Drew Brees. I was not scared. If there's one takeaway I saw from week 1 from the Tampa Bay and New Orleans game, it wasn't that, New Orleans is up 1-0. They're most likely going to win the division. They're all looking at a Super Bowl. This is their year. Brees is on a timetable. This is it. No, I think the New Orleans Saints, my takeaway is New Orleans Saints didn't look that good. If you don't muff a kick, if you don't make any silly mistakes, that game's a one-possession game with a team that just has a new quarterback and they're not even anywhere near familiar and in sync against a team who's had the same core for years, the same coach. You're at home, and they didn't win by that much of a large margin despite all these mistakes. So yeah, I'm going to take Oakland. I'm going to take Oakland to win, and I'm taking Oakland +6. This is a bold prediction. I mean, absolutely, this is a bold prediction. So yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, Moon Saints win and cover. I think they look pretty good in my opinion. I think they're one of the better teams in the NFC. Might be the team to beat in the NFC. They have a good scheme. Sean Payton's a good coach. They get like Taysom Hill involved. Michael Thomas disappeared, still went off. Manny Sanders not involved, still had a good game, still putting up points. They just find ways to they just have like so many like game plans that they could go with the personnel they have, which is really tough to prepare for. And Vegas is just, I don't know, they're not that great. Like you said, their defense is pretty horrific. I think Saints are going to score a boatload of points here. Yeah, I like Saints by a touchdown here, or even more.
I
All
know
right,
you
so
guys.
you
Well, I
go,
want
you
to
go,
say,
Chase.
but I know you guys don't like the defense, but they have pieces. You know what I mean? They got they have that I can't remember. It's Garen Conley. I don't even know if they still have him, but that they got that front three of Farrell, Max Crosby, and
Cleveland Farrell. Love Cleveland Farrell.
It's like
Great
I'm not
player.
coming out here and saying they're the best, but I think it's just week one. They probably mind boggled. I mean, they by no means shut down CMC, but they did a good job, better than I would expect. You know what I mean? What they did with him, they just don't really got any linebackers. You know what I mean? I don't know too much about their secondary.
Their corners are awful.
Yeah, it's.
But listen,
Yeah.
Listen, if we were heading into this week and I was like, all right, Drew Brees, he looked good week one, which didn't happen. He looked like pretty pedestrian. If he had Michael Thomas, he had Alvin Kamara, he had Jared Cook, he had Sanders, Sanders in the red zones, he was looking for Sanders in week one, by the way. I'd be like, all right, double team Michael Thomas. Like, I don't really feel that confident in Emmanuel Sanders one-on-one on the outside. I don't feel good. But no Michael Thomas. The best receiver they have is Emmanuel Sanders and Traquan Smith with Jared Cook, who you're familiar with because he's played for Oakland, and Alvin Kamara. They have a good rushing attack. But I'm telling you guys, if there's a game that's an upset, it's going to be this one. Because
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
Remember when they lost to Fitzmagic week one? It was like a blowout. You're like, what the heck did we just watch? Remember when Fitzmagic was a buck? It was like Deshaun Watson and Deshaun Jackson just getting all these bomb touchdowns. Yeah. I think that's what it's going to be this game. It's going to be Henry Ruggs. So, yeah, bold prediction. It's probably not going to happen, but I would love to see it happen. Go Bucks. Any other bold predictions for this week before we wrap this up? Bold takes. I had a bold prediction last week, cashed in on it. Who's going first, me?
No, yeah, you go first. I don't care.
All right, last week I was correct. I said Oakland's going to have a better rushing attack than Carolina, and I was correct. 3 touchdowns for my boy Josh Jacobs. This week's going to be a little bit interesting. I'm gonna go to probably the best game of the week, Sunday Night Football. I'm going to go to New England, Seattle, and I'm going to say that Stephon – no, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because Russell isn't see. I'm going to go Chris Carson is going to be held under 50 yards rushing. Is that bold? Not really.
I think it's fairly bold.
How about this? I'm going to step it up. Seattle rushing attack is going to be a non-factor by running backs. Maybe Russell Wilson's ground.
Like we talked about less than 75 yards?
Yeah, it's going to be a non-factor rushing attack-wise.
All right. What do you got, Mike?
Yeah, I cashed in on my last week one too. I had Kyler Murray passing and rushing yards over 300. He combined for like over 320. Looked pretty good.
Hey, good job.
Yeah, this week – bold prediction. I'm just going to ride out my Case Keenum take. Case Keenum gets subbed into the game against the Bengals Thursday night and wins. I think that's
making a
bold.
case
That's
for
good.
Case.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right.
Let's go.
I don't know how bold mine is, but I'm going Donald 2.5 plus sacks against Philadelphia. And I think Wentz doesn't is still in the game healthy when the clock hits 0.
That's a bold take.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz is going to injure. I like that. So hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely like and subscribe if you want to see more podcasts like this. We're going to have episodes every week with our recaps of the games and for our predictions. So definitely consider subscribing and liking the video. Show your friends. And thank you so much for watching.